What's going on, boys? It's Doozy. Welcome to the Doozy Podcast, Episode 1. In this podcast, I will be interviewing Rainbow Six Siege T2 and T1 pros. This podcast will give you the best tips and tricks to become a better player and even have a chance to compete at the pro level. Today, I will be interviewing the T2 IGL Ozone and how he got into the game and his best tips and tricks of how to get better at the game of Rainbow Six Siege. Make sure to stay to the end and make sure to like and comment of what you guys think and vote for who you guys want me to invite to the podcast next. Enjoy the video, boys. How did you start and how did you figure out the game of Siege and what got you into the game?
So, okay, this is like, I feel like a fairly entertaining story because I was a Siege player on console since beta. So I got like what's it called? The fire skin, right? Like I got Peacock. I got a lot of OG stuff that I got just kind of playing the game from the very start. But the thing is that nobody got me into the game. My interest for the game was completely like just on my own. I had a group of friends that we loved to play Battlefield Hardline. Like Battlefield was like my primary game before I played Siege. That's all I played basically. And when Hardline came out, which was like a cops and robbers type Battlefield game, when that game came out, there was a game mode called Rescue, which was literally just hostage from Siege. A little bit different. They had two hostages placed in like kind of like how bombs are placed in Siege. Like there was two hostages and you could grab one of them and exfil with one of them. And it was like single life, 5v5. And you know, Battlefield has like more unique gadgets than like Call of Duty does. So, and especially with like the cops and robbers theme, it was like tasers and zip lines and grappling hooks. So me and my friends would, you know, just play and we'd 5-stack, like just actually trying our ass off, you know. Just trying to work strats in, trying to figure out certain maps. And so like that was like the most fun I've had playing Battlefield. And so the Siege beta rolls around and I'm like, well, damn, like this is exactly what I was doing on Battlefield, but it's like a dedicated game for it. I was like, I got to try the beta out. So I tried the beta out, instantly fell in love. And, you know, I think from there it was history. I swear, like every single friend that I have that's, you know, plays this game, among my IRL friends, that is, like all my IRL friends who play this game, it's like, you know, I don't want to say like I put them on, but like I low-key put them on. I was like, yo, we gotta play this game, you know, like we were 5-stacking in the PlayStation parties, you know. It was like, yeah. It was a very natural thing, but I was definitely something that just kind of came like by circumstance, honestly.
What kind of hooked you on it? Like, what did you like about it so much?
It was, so at first, it was the draw that everybody typically has when they first play this game, which is like, oh, tactical, like 5v5. It's like, you know, you're like a SWAT team guy and you're moving in and you got unique utility that you can use. And like, that was the initial draw. But I would say like the thing that kept me going and prevented me from going to any other game was just like, I was watching guys like Macy J, and I was watching guys like Serenity, early Varsity, right? Like a lot of the early pioneers on YouTube and Twitch. And I realized that there was like a strategic depth to the game. And that got me interested in Pro League. And then when I got interested in watching Pro League, it was like, you know, it's a whole nother game. And so from there, I'm like, oh no, like this kind of competitive itch and like the satisfaction of, you know, winning a clutch or doing something like really smart, or just being able to like outplay somebody in a way that's just completely unique to Siege. It like those moments, I don't find the same satisfaction. It's like a drug. It's just ridiculous.
Did you play any competitive on like console? I know there was like console like leagues and stuff back in the day.
The problem was there was no crossplay. So it was mostly Xbox stuff. The PS4, I was on PlayStation. So a lot of the PS4 stuff was limited to basically just playing Go 4s and like other 20s. And I tried a little bit when I first got my freshman year of college. I wanted to do that for PS4. But the thing is like I didn't even like COVID is what made me get my PC. So I was playing for friends basically. Like I have old clips of me like IGLing my friends around, right? Like I was very much like a I'm gonna explain the game, like what we need to do. You know, we're like full roam clearing, but like the whole purpose was to play with friends. Like it was definitely a thing that I did with people that I knew. In the same way that you play pickup basketball, right? Or you play like pickup football or any kind of, you know, just casual thing with friends. It felt the same to me, but it just had like a very unique competitive itch that I can scratch, especially because I was pretty good at it.
When did you switch to like PC? Like when did you like realize like you wanted to switch to PC and compete at like a next level?
I always wanted to compete on PC, but I knew nothing about PC at all. And I felt like it just wasn't worth it. Because, you know, I had all my friends and everything, and I had all this other stuff going on. But when COVID hit, you know, some like personal stuff came around, and I'm just like, you know what? I've got some money laying around. Like, I can't do anything else. Like, let me just build a PC. Why not? Like, all my friends were building PCs, and we were all talking about it. So I'm like, you know what? Let's build a PC. Let's play some Siege. And it was kind of like as soon as I realized that it's like, hey, you know, I will build a PC and I will, you know, be able to play Siege on the PC. It's like the first thought in my head was like, I mean, I've got to try to play competitive somewhat. I've spent so much time just, you know, building my own skills as like an IGL and as somebody who could like teach players how to play the game, because all of my friends literally never played the game before I told them. So it's like teaching them operators and then as well, it's just like, yeah, I feel like I have a very good Siege IQ, if that's like the best way to frame it. So it's like I feel like I was pretty qualified to utilize those skills competitively as opposed to just playing ranked.
Okay. When also speaking on like the competitive part, when was like the first time like you actually like joined a comp team on PC and like who did you play with and like I don't know what org did you, if you were under an org, like what org were you on at the time you like started playing like competitive?
It depends if you're gonna count collegiate as competitive, because that was technically my first team experience was with, and again a big reason why I even started playing Siege comp in the first place was because I played as a part of my college team. Like I built the college team. I brought a bunch of people together from a bunch of different ranks, and I was like, hey guys, let's play comp, you know. And it was a fun experience. It was interesting because it's like you had me who like just switched over to console like 2 months ago, and then you have a bronze, a diamond, and like a gold, and it's like in a very weird way, it's like I still kind of like was like I had the largest like quote unquote like comp Siege IQ of everybody there. And so it was a complete mess, but it was a lot of fun. And you know, those like it was another thing where it's like those are IRLs, right? Like those are college friends. You know, we'd hang out. I still talk to them to this day, right? Like it was just like a very fun but a very like interesting experience. It definitely was like not unique to the typical like join a T3 team or a T4 team and kind of work it that way.
Counting out the collegiate part, like when did you like a team, like when you joined like Dilemma or something like that, like when was your like first actual like comp team with a bunch of random people you would try out for?
Yeah, my first there's a funny story about that one. The first one I ever joined, I don't remember, was it called Asgard? I think that's what Asgard with like Doe. You know, funnily enough, Asgard and the guys that I met from Asgard on my first T3 team is how I met Adam, the professional Sonics player. I actually met him through that. He's like one of the first people that I knew playing Siege competitive. And I remember the first time I scrimmed with them, we were playing Park, and they gave me like strats, and they were like, "Okay, we need you to run these Miras," and then you know that. And I remember looking at them, and I was like, "I'm gonna be honest, guys, I don't like this. Do you mind if I like suggest some changes?" And they're like, "Sure, if you think you can do something better." And I remember it was like, because it was theme park, and I'm playing Mira, so like obviously I was like, put a Mira on yellow, put a Mira in China facing control, and it's a T4 team, so they're like, wait, this is actually kind of fucking beast. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, if you like watch one Pro League game, I guess it seems it's kind of normal to me, but I just, you know, it was a funny first experience because, you know, you join a team of everybody who's like very inexperienced, and like mechanically I definitely was like still just trying to learn a keyboard, but it's like mentally, it's like I felt like I had a very good knowledge of the game despite never really playing, like comp or having that experience just based on how much I watched it.
Right, right. That makes sense. What this may be like kind of a weird question, but like, when was like, what was your like favorite team you've ever been on in your entire like competitive career, quote unquote?
It's hard. I feel like I can answer that a few different ways. Cause like just strictly vibes, the most fun team I've ever been on. Like I have never laughed harder than when I was with like Decimate. That was me, Twist, Skunky, Rival, and Candle. Like that team, that was a recent team. It was like the last team I was on. That team was comedy, bro. Like we were hilarious, bro. It was never serious in scrims, bro. We were always cracking jokes, even when Trev was on the team at that point too. Like I have a bunch of clips I still have to put together of just like the most ridiculous things from like that era. So like that's one way of looking at it. Like I feel like the team were I had the most fun playing comp, as in like I felt like I was improving and progressing, and I was seeing things that like kind of made me feel like like this is something I should just keep doing, and this is something that I feel like I could keep doing. Was probably this was the first major quals iteration. I don't remember what team we were at that point. We weren't Dilemma. I can't remember. Maybe we were Lycus Empire. Yeah. It was Lycus. So that was me, Brios, Candle. Wooz was actually subbing in for Dan or Aggro, but Aggro was also there for the first weekend. For me, like the most fond memories though was like the phase 2, when we actually had to play for money, and then like the SFCL quals, and then Cryptics, and like that team for a little while was like, and leading up to Element 1, not obviously doing Element, literally went 1 and 3, but like leading up to it at least was like the vibes were all time high, right? Like I mean, those guys are good friends of mine, and it's like we were just playing really well. I felt like things were just working, and we made a lot of money. Like in that, I would say 90% of the money that I made last year from Siege came from that like short time span between like the beginning of major quals to the E1 season, the start of the E1 season with those guys. Because like phase 2, we made like I think $3,000, I think, or it was like $4,000 as a team, I think, because we placed second. And then it was like we got prize money from Dow, I think, and some other league, or we won Dow or something like that. I can't remember what it was, but it's like in terms of just like a current highlight, like that is probably where it's at. I feel like I had the most success there.
Speaking on that, like, what do you think like your personal best moment of your entire Siege career like was? Like, even in competitive, ranked, it could be really anything. Like what made that dopamine rush like in your head?
I mean, phase 2 was like the highlight of everything for that first major call. Like, I mean, just things were working, things were clicking. Like the strategy that we had, and the strategy, because so this was coming off of SI 2022. And so wait, was it? Or I can't remember when. It was the SI that G2 won, basically. So yeah, SI 2022, because it was last year. Anyways, coming off that SI that G2 had won, and this was like when theme park was in the pool and everything, I really was like enjoying the way that 2-2-1 defenses work, like split defenses, or split attacks, sorry. And so that was kind of the style that we were running. And it worked for us really well in phase 2. But like, I mean, the dopamine rush of like beating Ariel in the very first round to move ourselves forward in phase 2, that BO3 was like unreal, because it was like a 2-0 victory. It was like super close rounds. Like I was screaming my head off. And then like every other BO1 after that for seeding for phase 3, and then also just for like the money that we were winning, knowing that like every single victory that whole day was like more money in my pocket. It was the first time that I had made money playing Siege. And like it felt great. I mean, it was something else, man. Like I still have the VODs from those games, and it's like the vibes were just so high. We were just doing things that made sense. Like I feel like we were just playing pretty good Siege. I always feel like as I progress, I always end up playing better and better, and I feel like I call better. and adapt better just based off what the meta is. But like for that time period, like I feel like that was like a real big highlight.
Okay. In the major quals like phase 2 like area, like what was the hardest team like you went in there and you were like we need to like lock in and like no trolling, like there's zero mistakes, like what was like the hardest team you like ever faced and like
in general or in
yeah,
that okay
in general, yeah. It could be like prime aerial rise, it could be a pro league team, it could be just something that like you were looking forward to and you were like we need to lock in on.
I mean, so this is a scrim. Does that count? Does scrims count?
I mean,
it have to be like a game.
I would say a game day. Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. I mean, it'd probably have to just be like aerial rise with like freak atom courts.
In Asian, right? Yeah.
In Asian, yeah. Like
Yeah.
it's probably gonna be that roster.
That roster was nasty.
Yeah, we played them a good few times. I mean, we lost most of them, but we won when it mattered in phase 2. So I was happy about that.
Right.
And then I remember like they had like this crazy like nobody took a map off them for like it was like they were getting to like some ridiculous undefeated streak and just playing in different tournaments. And I remember like we got invited to Fed Fiesta and I remember we ended up breaking that. We won like an 8-7 game on Theme Park. That was like I remember that one was a good time. Yeah, I mean, I would say like in game day it was them, but I do want to say just as a special mention, like I have never been shit on so bad in scrims than playing phase, like the current phase. Those I literally became a fan playing those guys. They are unbelievable. We were just getting packs smoked, bro. I'm talking like we played them I think 2 separate occasions, 3 maps both times, or maybe 4 maps one time. We never got more than 5 rounds on them. I was like, damn, these guys are good. Like instantly made me a fan.
Do you still plan on like making a shot to Pro League, or are you kind of just like playing for fun?
I mean, I think like anybody that plays comp and says like, or at least like anybody that plays comp at like a high T3, maybe not high T3, but like at a T2 level, I think anybody that plays and says like, oh, I'm not actually going for pro is like a lying, especially with the current state of things. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like, I took a break after E2, came back, still working through the kinks of coming back after taking like a 3-month break, a 3.5-month break. But like, it's if things pan out, things pan out. I have backups, and like my life is continuing to progress. This is just something that I do in my free time because it's fun. The way I kind of explain it to people is like, some people play soccer on Sundays, some people play in a baseball league. Some people go and play pool on the weekends. I play Siege. You know what I mean? It's like the mental stimulation that I get from it, I very much equate to like I'm exhausted. Like I play chess exhausted, but I'm more exhausted because I'm using my voice instead of just my head. Like I'm firing on all cylinders playing this thing. It's a passion. It's something that I'm pretty good at. So it's like for now, like the attitude that I carry is like, if the opportunity ever arose, I would take it, 100%. That doesn't mean that I'm not trying my hardest, right? Like I will always try my hardest because I feel like I'm only continuing to get better, and I feel like I have something that I can provide that's like unique to me, and so long as that's the case, I'm gonna keep playing. The day that I feel like I literally can't do it anymore, or I feel like there's no point, I'll just play ranked.
The right grind. Yeah. What's the current team you're on right now? Like, are you still teaming with Candle, those guys still, or?
So right now, I'm building a roster. It's me, Nilek, Bry, who used to be on Wildcard, and then Pachito, who used to be on 6 Karma 2 Pro League stages ago.
Okay.
So we're looking for 5th. We're trialing people right now. But yeah, that's like the roster we're working with right now. Just working through all like the new. Hopefully, we can get scrims more consistent. But
right,
that in mind, we're just kind of working through it.
Right. So speaking on like the competitive aspect, like for new people trying to like actually get into comp or even like starting to like really take the game in a competitive like reason, like what would you say for like everybody? Like, what do you think's like the best possible like tips and tricks and like advice you could give to like someone that's wanting to get into the competitive scene on Siege?
It's very simple. One is you need to market yourself, so use Twitter, post your Twitter clips, stream your quals, stream your rank, or maybe not stream your rank games, but like when people know who you are, then start streaming your rank games. Like become a personality, and become somebody that like people know for something. You know what I mean? And then the other thing is you have to utilize social media. Twitter is where this game lives and dies. When it comes to its competitive scene, every single pro uses Twitter. Every single T2 player uses Twitter. And then like that's how you make connections. That's how people see who you are. After Pro League game days, everybody goes to Twitter to see the clips. You're not streaming your quals and your game days. If they're not on stream, if you're not posting clips from your scrims and stuff at a season after, obviously, or like clips from your game days, don't be surprised when nobody knows who you are. You have to market yourself. That's the first thing, and I would argue one of the most important things, because the second part is not necessary, but I think when it comes to improving, especially for NA, the level of play, I think like this is like very important. And that's like just watch Pro League. Like Pro League and so many regions play at so many different times. Don't just watch the majors. Like watch the normal games, and don't watch the normal games just to watch them and be entertained. Watch them to learn something. Like I consider myself to be like, especially as an IGL, I feel like it's just like like I have a pretty good understanding of like the game, but I find myself learning new stuff literally all the time watching Pro. There's no excuse to not be watching it. You have to. You have to learn all there is to learn. Like these guys get paid to play the game, and at a certain level, like there's things that you will not know unless you literally play the game professionally. So if you can learn it for free, you put yourself at an advantage over literally everybody. It's like there's no excuse. Watch Pro League if you really want to make it like learn something from the pros that play the game for a living. It's never going to be a bad investment. Okay,
that makes a lot of sense. What also, like when you first like this is the last question I want to ask, like when did you ever qual for like, or so how do I word this? Hold on 1 minute. When was the first time you like qualled for like T2, like technically Challenger League, but like when did you qual for that, and like what team were you on?
So my journey was a little bit weird. Technically speaking, to get into Challenger League, I didn't qual. I was picked up by Outlast, which was Woo's, Traw, Mad, and Jewel take Athenio's spot. It's a creator Athenio spot for the last 2 games of this regular season, and then potentially for Rels. And I was picked up as an IGL to give them a little bit more attacking structure in that process.
Right.
Next time, so CL didn't exist because we got Relled, and then Pro League or Challenger League fell off the face of the planet literally the next season. So there was no chance. It probably, or Challenger League did not exist. So technically speaking, for Element 1 and 2, which was the next 2 T2 events, if you're not counting like mini tournaments ran, I was invited for both of them because I made phase 2 and I placed fairly high in phase 2 for both of the major quals. This most recent major qual, because there's only been 3, I guess, but it's like I wasn't playing in this major qual, and so depending on if there's an Element 3, like I'd have to qual for that one. But like I've technically like never had to qual. I've been invited to 2, and then I was also kind of picked up to a team to play for a Challenger League.
Okay. All right, thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure, man. No problem. You want me to like I can drop my socials too.
Yeah, just go ahead and drop your like Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, like whatever you like kind of want to mention.
Yeah, for sure. So it's gonna be just El Jefe Ozone on Twitter, on Twitch, and then you can just go to those 2 for any of my YouTube stuff. I gotta like unify my stuff for everything, but yeah, you'll know it's me because you see a handsome gentleman in some fine clothing as my profile pic in both of them. So
the pool table picture.
No, I got a different one. It was from my anniversary.
Oh, W.
Yeah, so. But yeah, so appreciate you for having me on, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, for sure. No worries.